All right. It's been a long time since I did something like this. But nonetheless, welcome to the return of Triple Threat Wrestling Radio live right here on Ustream.tv. It is Friday, November 22nd, 2013. I go by the name of Kenny C. And it feels pretty damn good to be back. Thank you everyone for joining me, and thank you for your patience as well. I know I got some explaining to do as to why I haven't been on the air over the last month or so. I looked at the archives here, and the last time I did a show was Friday, October the 18th, 2013. What I'm about to explain before I get into what's on tap for tonight's show. The reason that I've been MIA is because of my job. I had to work second shift for over a month, for 4 to midnight, 4 p.m. to midnight, sometimes 4 p.m. to 1 a.m. or 4 p.m. to 2 a.m., 8 to 10 hour shift. And as of a week and a half ago, I did ask my supervisor if I can move the first shift. And shockingly, they said, yeah, you can move the first shift. So I started first shift, now work from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And so far, the job's been good. It could be demanding. It could be draining at times, but it's a job. I get paid every week now, and it's all good. So I'm not going to complain all the way too much. Now that I got that out the way, I'm back, and hopefully I can hang on to this shift for as long as I can. All I ask is to bear with me because I haven't done internet radio in over a month. Tonight on the show, we got Max Steel, indie pro wrestler out of Alaska. This man right here is a Sun guy. Actually, Sun guy, he told me about this guy, and originally we had the interview scheduled on the 20th. But that's when I I thought that was Thanksgiving week, and actually Thanksgiving is next week, so interview is now scheduled tonight. So, and to the people that I had to reschedule the interviews, I hope y'all got your message that I sent y'all yesterday. Mike York, his interview now we scheduled for December the 6th. Brittany and Erica and Charlie midnight. I'm still awaiting for your replies. Please get in contact with me as soon as possible. Those are the only spots I have left as far as interviews for 2013. We're going to go ahead and kick off the show by recapping Total Divas from this past Sunday night. And it was at the end of the episode, things got crazy between John and his Bella girlfriend. John, I guess this was nothing more than an ultimatum. If you want to be with me, if you want to stay with me, you got to fill out these paperwork. So I'm like, what? Now, we all know these are wrestlers, and, sometimes people want to say reality TV show, not everything is real. Okay, there's some things you can't make up. Okay, John Cena's divorce, that was real. John Cena now has a new girlfriend, that is real. And John Cena's clearly trying to have control of this relationship, trying not to be pressured or whatever. That's real. Now, like John said, there was no good way to, inform her of that, but to do it while the woman is just unpacking, if you will, her stuff, and flew from the opposite coast You know, you want this guy to make a commitment. You want marriage. You know what it all boils down to now. Her twin sister's engaged. Now, but all fairness, her and Daniel Bryan been together for a couple of years. They've been together for a couple of years. So, I don't know. That was just crazy. At least that's how I felt about it. Natalia trying to recover from her wet incident. And then, the Funkadactyls, Karen, and her attitude issues. She need to put it together. Oh, also, this was the episode when Erica Marie, I think that's her name, the redhead, she's been bombarding WWE, give her an opportunity. And sometimes it doesn't start in the wrestling ring. Sometimes you gotta start small things. Like, for example, you gotta do ring announcing. And all she is not, and now obviously ring announcing and wrestling, that it looks simple. All you gotta do is introduce the wrestlers as they make their way to the ring. And she got the Usos right. She's got the team right, but she 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 forgot Jinder Mahal's name, and at least she apologized. She said she didn't cheat, but you're on national television. You gotta know people. Even though you're only gonna have one match, one segment. Even though that may be the one time in your WWE tenure that you're gonna be a ring announcer. You better know people, because you're gonna have to work with them. You may have to do a segment with them. Gotta be on the same page. So, and let's not forget the previous episode, she was running her mouth about the Bellas, and it was nice to see her get a dose of humble pie. She got humbled on that episode. And if you recap her tenure on Total Divas so far, WWE asked her to do something, she dropped the ball. Remember the summer season, acting like she had dancing experience, wanted to be the dancing partner of Fandango, but she can't dance worth a lick. And now this, WWE's giving her opportunity after opportunity, and she couldn't get the job done. Now, fortunately for her, she's still in the WWE. And fortunately for her, she's about to make her pay-per-view in-ring debut this Sunday at Survivor Series alongside JoJo and the rest of the Total Divas cast as go up against AJ and what she calls the Will Divas, aka the Divas that are not featured on Total Divas. And I find that funny. Alicia Fox is representing AJ's team, and she makes appearances on Total Divas. So, but she's not a main cast member, if you will. So, these 7 other AJ and her crew, they got a lot to prove. They want to show that they deserve just as much as publicity. They feel they deserve as much publicity. And right now, I'm getting hit with a Ustream message, and I quote, "Your computer or your internet connection cannot handle your current quality setting. Please try reducing your resolution or quality for smoother streaming." I'm afraid if I do that, that's gonna mess up the whole show. So I'm not gonna do it right now. I'm just gonna, and I guess that may be the reason why this Ustream's been cutting me off in and off. you know, stuff like that. On we're gonna recap Raw, Main Event, Impact, and Turning Point, aka Impact Wrestling. Um, I finished watching SmackDown. This was the this was the first time all week, first time in the month that I was able to watch WWE and TNA live. Watch it on TV rather than watching it online. First time in a month. That's crazy. Um, Survivor Series, man, the 27th annual Survivor Series, the second longest running pay-per-view in the WWE currently. At WWE, and the Survivor Series is mostly known for those traditional matches. Five on five, maybe 6 on 6. Looking at the Survivor Series page right now, if I can get to it right now here. Once again, Ustreams keep giving me this message: reduce your resolution or quality. Okay, I'm looking at the quality here. Maybe if I just do that, maybe if I just lower the quality, see if I get hit with the message again. I have to lower the quality just a little bit. Hopefully, if you're listening on the outside, if you still can hear me clearly. Now, good grief, it's a bunch of matches here. Survivor Series this Sunday. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 matches. 7 matches are scheduled. Nope. Still getting hit with that. So I guess it's the resolution. It's the resolution. And I'm getting hit with a text message while I'm on the air here. I got to turn the volume off. You know what? Getting hit with a text message from my sister, and she text, I miss you. I miss you too, Kenya. I'll talk to you after the show. Oh man. Now, if I can, with no further interruption, I'm just going to ignore the Ustream message and just continue. Monday Night Raw goes country for Nashville, Tennessee this past Sunday. For Nashville, Tennessee this past Monday, Florida Georgia Line performed the theme song Wild Hair. Would have been even cooler if they performed the song Cruise with Nelly, but I guess Round Here was more fitted as the theme song for Raw Country this past Monday night. I guess that was one thing I disliked the most of Raw Country this past Monday, and that was the Divas musical chairs, which was a trending topic for the wrong reasons, obviously. Just not feeling it whatsoever. Let's see, reduce resolution. Low, okay. Jeez, what else you want me to do? Damn Ustream message thingy. It's on low quality, so maybe I need to lower the quality a little more. I don't know. Um, Triple H, Stephanie, fresh off of their vacation, they were not at across the pond after what happened to Randy getting attacked by the Big Show and chokeslammed through a table. Um, And now he confronts the authority. I guess that's what they call themselves now. Triple H and Stephanie, the authority. Randy Orton feels like he needs to be protected. He's an asset. He needs to be taken care of. So Triple H and Randy Orton kind of go at it. Things get a bit heated. And now they had a conversation later in the night. And Triple H is making it clear, look, man, if you believe you're the face of the WWE, you beat the Big Show by yourself. No Shield, no authority, no interference, no advantage. Go out there at Boston this Sunday, defend your championship, and beat the Big Show. Beat him on your own. But do we really want to believe? Do we really want to believe that Triple H and Stephanie just gonna let Randy Orton go in that match without a plan, a backup plan? We really think that's gonna happen? We really think that's just gonna go down like that? Are we really gonna believe that? I have question marks about that. But we'll see. We'll see. No Shawn Michaels to be the referee. No referee help. No Shield. No authority. Randy Orton, man up. Beat the Big Show on your own. And then we call you the face of the WWE, I guess. Speaking of Orton, speaking of the authority, they were not pleased with Brad Maddox and Vicky Guerrero, and both Maddox and AJ were paid for their mishaps last Monday on Raw from across the pond. The first person to suffer was Brad Maddox. No wrestling attire, just in his suit or whatever. He had to go one-on-one against Randy Orton. And I gotta hand it to Brad Maddox. He kind of had his moments with Randy. He looked like things was gonna get real interesting, but then Randy just got focused. He underestimated Maddox, and that's the last thing you want to do as do to your opponent. You never want to underestimate him. Can't do that. It's a no-no. It's the last thing you want to do. So Randy got focused, and Brad Maddox ended up in a cart after the match. Randy goes on to pick up the victory. Probably my favorite moment, one of my favorite moments is Biggie Langston versus Curtis Axel for the Intercontinental Championship. And how ironic, just nearly almost a year since Biggie made his WWE debut when he gave John Cena the big ending. And now here's Biggie Langston. No Dolph Ziggler, no AJ Lee. It's all Biggie. Get to show what he's made of. And you beat Curtis Axel to become the Intercontinental Championship, to win your first championship in your WWE career. Well, technically his second if you want to count the NXT Championship he won early this year. Or was it late last year? I don't know exactly when. But his first as a WWE superstar, not an NXT guy, WWE guy. Congrats to Biggie Langston. Big night. The crowd got crazy for Biggie. And his theme song got remixed as well. So, Nashville, Tennessee. I wonder if Biggie's a country music fan. I doubt it. He doesn't look like he listens to country music. But you never know. But congrats to Biggie. Hard work, man. And I believe he's available on WWE 2K14. So, update your 2K14 roster accordingly. He's now the new Intercontinental Champion. Big Show goes into defeat Ryback And how about this? The Real Americans versus Miz and Kofi Kingston. And the Miz leaves Kofi high and dry and goes on to, and the Real Americans takes advantage, picks up the victory, which is a sign of Miz turning heel. The Miz got the Christmas Bounty TV special coming up on ABC Family next week. I guess you can check your local listings for that. Speaking of holidays, as we all know, Thanksgiving is next Thursday, and I'm happy to announce, to give you a little pre-Thanksgiving, if you will. That's right, Triple Threat Wrestling Radio will be live on Wednesday of next week, Thanksgiving Eve, at a special start time, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, as I recap Raw, Survivor Series, Total Divas, and main event, a WWE edition, pre-Thanksgiving edition of Triple Threat Wrestling Radio. That's coming to you next week. No word on who the guest is going to be, but I hope to find one at least by this weekend. You never know. Also, AJ took on Vicky, and we all know the history between AJ and Vicky. AJ was the general manager. Vicky made her life miserable, and Vicky played a huge role of ending AJ's role as the general manager. And I guess that was nice for AJ to get her revenge on Vicky Guerrero for the Black Widow on her. She tried to Vicky tried to weasel her way out of the match. I'm like, if Brad Maddox can go through a no DQ match with Randy Orton, then you should be able to go through a regular wrestling match with AJ Lee, with Tamina at ringside. You didn't get hurt as bad as Brad Maddox did, so consider yourself lucky. Consider yourself lucky, Vicky Guerrero. Dolph Ziggler, how about this? Another highlight of War Country. Ziggler and Sandow in a brawl, a backstage brawl, not a backyard brawl, whatever it was called. And let's just say, man, WWE hit a home run on this one. I mean, Sandow and Ziggler did not disappoint. All the instruments were used, but Dolph Ziggler prevailed as the victor. And it looks like Sandow's kind of been on the funk since unsuccessfully cashing in the Money in the Bank briefcase on John Cena a few weeks back. Cena kind of put the okey doke on their wheel, acting like his elbow was hurt, was even more damaged, but Cena's fine. He's good to go. He's not missing Survivor Series in his hometown of Boston. It's not happening. Cena will be there. How about this? Speaking of NXT, maybe this guy could be the next emerging star for NXT to break through in the WWE. The Rhinestone Cowboys, a.k.a. 3MB, first they were the Union Jacks, and now they're the Rhinestone Cowboys. And Max Steel is calling me right now. Let's get him on. Alright, my guest at this time is joining me here on Triple Threat Wrestling Radio. I have Max Steel on the line. What's going on, Max?
Not much. How are you guys doing this evening?
Doing real good, and thank you for joining me this evening.
No problem at all. It's a Sergeant's pleasure.
And let me ask you before we begin, you are from the state of Alaska, correct?
That is correct.
And also, exactly what time is it right now in Alaska?
6:30 in the p.m.
Oh, so you are 4 hours behind me. So it's 10:27 p.m. here on the East Coast. Um, just thought I'd put it out there, I guess. Um, so I heard so much about you through a friend of ours named Sun Guy, and I'm a fan of your work. I'm a fan all of a sudden. Um, and I want to ask you, Max, how did your wrestling career got started?
The Sarge got into wrestling by seeing a TV commercial. Up here in Alaska, there's not, there's never been a lot of independent wrestling, and one day there was a commercial on TV, become a wrestler, and Sarge went down there and signed up, and that's what I've been doing ever since.
So, I gotta ask you, man. Obviously, being in Alaska, I don't know what Alaska is mostly known for, other than it's right up there next to Hawaii. But what do you think the wrestling scene is like out there in Alaska? Is there any other than yourself, any companies that we should keep an eye of in anything particular wrestling wise?
There is a brand new company that was just born and is set to debut on December 7th, NFWA Alaska, and they're part of the New Frontier Wrestling Alliance. I hope I said that right. And it's really all the same guys up here, but just another company under new leadership. Up here in Alaska, we don't have guys jumping out of the woodworks wanting to be a wrestler. It's easier, I guess, to recruit people down there in the States where you got a bigger pool of bodies to get people from.
I'll definitely will keep that in mind. Definitely wanna. I as a fan of wrestling in general, I always want to see what's going on other than the state of Kentucky, where I'm at. I also want to keep an eye on what else is going on, not just in the United States, but all over the world. Just want to see the wrestling styles, the characters, the gimmicks, and things like that. And you definitely just introduced me to some Alaska wrestling that I'm definitely gonna have to check out if I can't obviously be there in person. Just get watch the videos on YouTube, I guess. So I'll definitely will keep that in mind. Um, so Max, do you remember your first wrestling match that you ever had, and if so, who was your opponent or opponents, and what company did you work for?
That was the Sarge first wrestled back in oh, 98 or 99, and it was against a kid calling himself the Equalizer. Oh, I am totally lying. Apologies. The Sarge's first match was against Master Thompson, a 6 foot tall albino ninja from Japan. It was quite the match.
So going into that match particular, was there any signs of nerves or butterflies, of all the training that you had to go through leading up to this match, get to perform in front of an audience? Were there any signs of nerves, butterflies leading up to the match?
To this very day, the Sarge will always have butterflies before the curtains pulled and his name is called. I would say they were tenfold back there in my first match. This first time in front of an audience, it's really something different. I hadn't done much performing of any kind before that. I think I was brave number 3 in the first grade Thanksgiving play, but that's about it.
That's definitely cool. And I guess as a wrestler or just an entertainer in general, whether you're a music artist or a comedian, there's always going to be nerves when you are performing in front of an audience, whether it's 100 people or thousands of people in attendance. But I guess once you go to that stage and just perform, everything else falls into place, and the nerves, the butterflies is out the window once you actually get out there and to entertain.
Uh, for sure. And a lot of performers get their power, their mojo, their gusto to be out there. They're from the crowd, and Born in the USA kicks in. The crowd goes wild. The Sergeant's butterflies get knocked out of his guts, and he goes out there and punches some poor fool in the head for a little while.
Poor fool, or fools for that matter, that's got an
Yeah.
encounter with you, Sarge. So do you have any wrestlers, whether it's indie or in the pros, that you influence, or better yet, that you have influenced? Anyone that you look up to? Anyone that you say, those are the people why I'm doing what I do for a living?
Well, the Sergeant's 37 years old, so I'm not such a big fan these days, but I have to always give credit to Hulk Hogan for getting the Sergeant interested in wrestling to begin with. Sarge was just a little tiny kid when that big giant feller would go stomping around in them yellow trunks and beating up on people, and it just pulled me right in.
I mean, Hulk Hogan, without a doubt, regardless of what people feel about him these days, I mean, let's not forget that he played a huge role of putting wrestling to the forefront as far as, you know, pop culture, entertainment, whatever you want to put it in. I mean, he 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 paved the way for a lot of people, for a lot of guys, and I guess without Hulk Hogan, wrestling would not be as recognized the way it is today. Um, and look, I'm a pro wrestling fan, regardless. So, but it's good to see wrestling is just getting the recognition that it deserves. That and because of you all as not just entertainers, but y'all are some very good athletes, and I feel like wrestlers don't get enough credit for their athleticism. Maybe because people feel wrestling is staged or scripted or whatever, but what y'all do, the wrestling moves that y'all do, I mean, that's as real as it gets.
Yeah, the Sarge feels that's the same way. Professional wrestlers will never get the credit they deserve as athletes because of all the other stigmatas that go along with pro wrestling. Uh, you take a man, take the Sarge for example. I'm 290, and I get in there. Sarge gets in there. He moves pretty good, and right now the Sarge is using the dive and headbutt off the top rope. And for someone his size to climb up there and jump off across the ring, it's just phenomenal. It takes more talent than we'll ever be given credit for. It's not just fancy falling. I don't care what anyone says.
Oh, I absolutely agree, man. And it's more than ever. People of your size and your height, they're doing more than just power moves like power bombs and power slams. I mean, they doing a variety of maneuvers. Like you said, you're doing the flying headbutt people. You got people like Samoa Joe, who's a big dude himself, who's doing suicide dives. I mean, big dudes. They're more than just power slams and whatnot. They can do some things that small wrestlers can do. It's fascinating to watch. It's incredible what they willing to go through to pick up the victory. It's just, I guess it's just a matter of will. Sometimes the will just makes you do things that even wrestlers themselves don't expect.
No, that's very true. The Sarge has just switched his training routine up to incorporate, I guess, what you would call the smaller guy moves. I'm working hard on them right now. They do take a little extra work because of the Sarge's size, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a suicide dive coming out of the Sarge here too not too far in the future.
Yeah, all your future opponents better watch out. That's all I got to say. Um,
I jump like a bowling ball. Oh, excuse me. Jump like a wrecking ball.
there you go. So, uh, you mentioned about some up and coming company for Alaska. Um, you on the other hand, do you have any upcoming shows, appearances you'd like to promote?
Um, this. Hold on one second here. Let me pull this up real quick because I'm not very good with venue names. But I do. I will be. I'll be. Sarge will be wrestling on December 7th here. That will be for NFWA, their debut show here in Alaska, and it's for a charity organization called Hope for Heroes. This is a local charity group that's involved in taking care of soldiers and their families while the soldier is deployed, making sure they have everything they need throughout the holidays and throughout the rest of the year too.
That's awesome to hear, man. That's awesome that wrestling companies are doing benefit shows like that just to give back to people. Um, and it's all for a great cause. So if you're in the Alaska area, make sure you check that out in the month of December. For people that wants to get in touch with you social media wise, why don't you let people know of your Facebook link or any other social media link people need to know?
You can get hold of the Sarge on just Facebook Max Steel on Facebook, and then it's APW Max Steel on Twitter. And that's all the Sarge's social things. I'd like to get up to more than 24 followers on Twitter.
You can make that 25. I'll be following you. I'll be following you.
Outstanding.
So so you've been wrestling, for for a long time, and that just shows longevity, obviously, and considering the injuries that wrestlers encounter. Um, is there anything left that you would like to accomplish? Anything particular, like maybe a dream match, or maybe one more championship one, or just anything that's one thing left on your bucket list that you would like to accomplish?
There's two things left on the Sarge's list that he really needs to get done, and the newest one, of course, would be NFWA just starting up. The Sarges hold all the heavyweight titles of all the companies that have come through Alaska. So with NFWA coming through, Sarge has to get that belt before he can be done. And Sarge was recently down there in Washington, and he wrestled for SCW. And while I was backstage after a match, Von Hess attacked the Sarge from the back. So I would like to go ahead and break one of Von Hess's fangs off and turn it into a nice necklace. Son of a brother and a shut up brother, Von Hess's I tell you, that Von Hess pisses the Sarge off right there. I'll fly down to Washington right now and take it a step further. Sorry, the Sarge vented.
No, it's okay, man. I mean, my guests are welcome to speak their mind, you know, at their wish. Do what you gotta do. Make the message well sent, and let the people know. Look, I'm coming for you. You know, I haven't forgotten what you did to me, what you said to me. I'm coming for you. You better have eyes at the back of your head.
Exactly.
So, well, Max, my last question for you, Sarge, is what would your advice be to anyone out there that wants to become a wrestler? What would your advice be?
Find a legitimate trainer and a legitimate school. Um, Pay them money to get trained properly. Do not go to a backyard. I'm using quotation marks in the air, but do not go to a backyard company and get your training from them. You will not be any good. Find a legitimate trainer. They're everywhere. There's really good trainers out there, and buy a pair of damn boots.
That is great advice, especially the backyard thing. I mean, I guess people feel the need of thinking that that's the way to go, but it's not. It just put yourself more at risk, money wise and health wise. So, like the SARS said, go to a real trainer, go to a real Western training school, do your research, and I guess shut up and listen, right? That's another advice. Shut up and listen to the trainers and the wrestlers out there, and who knows, maybe they'll have a career
Well,
come true.
one more thing. Sarge would like people to stop trying to train people to wrestle through YouTube, and I want people to stop watching training videos on YouTube because that's not going to get you anywhere either. The people putting our business out there on YouTube are the ones that are really screwing it up for everyone. And when Sarge comes across them, he lets Punchy and Punchy do the business then.
That's another great advice too, man. I mean, just do it in person. Don't watch no videos on the internet. I mean, go to an actual ring. Go out there with a real trainer and let he or she show you the ropes and just hope for the best. Well, Sarge, it was great chatting with you. This is my first show back on the air after a month hiatus through the work, and I say it's off to a very good start. Huge thanks to you. Thank you for being on the show this evening, Sarge, and you enjoy yourself a great weekend, man. Thank you for being on the show.
You do the same, and thanks for having the Sarge on. It's nice meeting you, brother.
All right, you have a good night.
Yeah, bye.
Bye bye. That was the Sarge Max Steel joining me on Triple Threat Wrestling Radio, and even though you streamers keeps bothering me with this whole um keeps bothering me with these messages about my quality or whatever. The show's running real nice and smooth. I haven't been cut off. It's a good sign. I better not jinx it though. Um, as I was saying a little bit earlier, Biggie Langston coming out of NXT, and now the WWE may find himself the next big star coming out of NXT. His name is Xavier Woods, teamed up with R-Truth to take on the Rhinestones, aka the Urine Jacks, aka 3MB. I think it was McIntyre and Mahal representing 3MB. And Xavier Woods, I gotta say, man, this dude looks like he has a bright future. Now, I know it's only one match in his WWE career, but he looked impressive. But that finishing maneuver looks awfully familiar to Gail Kim's Eat Defeat. He calls it Lost in the Woods, and that little flip he does leading up to the line. The dude is athletic. He looks like he has a lot of charisma. I just like to see a little bit more for Xavier Woods. But I'm looking forward to seeing more of him. I'm starting to watch NXT more often, so I mean, to see some more talent out there, some fun stuff. And then the 12-man tag team match between Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, the World Brothers, and the Usos versus the Shield and the Riots. It was jam-packed action all across the board, and in the end, CM Punk, Daniel Bryan rolls in the Usos, picks up the victory, and then came more chaos with the Real Americans getting involved, and then all of a sudden, the return of Rey Mysterio came out there, gave a couple of 619 to a couple of folks, and Rey Mysterio is back, and he will make his pay-per-view in-ring return this Sunday as part of the Survivor Series pay-per-view. Be on the lookout for that. And that concludes my Raw recap. And now for your main event recap quickly. We got Tamina Snuka defeated Naomi. Alberto Del Rio defeated Santina Marella. And thanks to Miz, Fandango versus Kofi Kingston. And for your turning point recap, Dixie and James Storm goes at it. And then as part of the World Heavyweight Championship title tournament, Magnus defeated Samoa Joe in a Falls Count Anywhere match. And we were supposed to have Joseph Parks versus Abyss, but that never really happened as bad influence run their mouth at Joseph Parks, forces him to leave the building. Gail Kim continues her open, her challenges to any female wrestler. The week prior, she beat one of the Blossoms. This week, it was some wrestler named Candice LeRae. Shout out to the Blossoms for being on Impact on the week prior. And then you also had what was supposed to be a bull rope match between Storm and Rude. It ended up being a Florida death match. Then you had, but thanks to Gunner for throwing a white flag, leading to Rude winning the match. Rude now advances to the Final Four. Magnus is now in the Final Four as well. So here's what the Final Four looks like as of right now. As of last night, went off the air. Rude would take on Angle. Magnus would take on Hardy in the Final Four. And it's been announced on a Thanksgiving edition of Impact Wrestling next week. It's going to be Angle. I guess they having their version of Survivor Series, but it's going to be at Thanksgiving. It's going to be a 10-man elimination tag team match. Team Angle versus Team Rude. I guess you'll find out who represent both teams on Thanksgiving night next week. EC3 continued his winning ways, finally beating somebody. He was called a TNA legend, more like a TNA veteran, Shark Boy. And how about this? Mr. Anderson did something that Main Event Mafia couldn't really do. Put it into Aces and Eights. After 18 months, causing chaos all over the place, Bullet Way loses to Mr. Anderson, and therefore the Aces and Eights are now officially disbanded. Brooke, Bullet Way, Knox, Garrett Bischoff were the remaining members of and Taz as well. So Aces and Eights, as of last night, done. Disbanded for good. Oh, and Mr. Anderson is going to have a funeral for Aces and Eights on Thanksgiving night on Impact next week. Now on to the SmackDown recap. If you are listening from the West Coast and you have yet to watch SmackDown, you may want to turn down the volume for the next minute and a half. The World Brothers defeated the Real Americans to retain the Tag Team Championships. Ryback defeated the Great Khali. The Funkadactyls beat AJ in a handicap match, which the match was made by Vicky Guerrero. as a measure of revenge, or as she likes to call, what's best for business. Big Show and Orton confronting each other vocally. Uh, Dolph Ziggler and Biggie Langston defeated Curtis Axel and Damien Sandow, and it's been announced through Triple H on his weekly interviews with Michael Cole. Curtis Axel will have his rematch this coming Sunday at Survivor Series, and Daniel Bryan goes on to defeat Luke Harper, but the Riots get the last laugh as SmackDown went off the air. And that concludes my Turning Point and SmackDown recaps. Now, the moment that I've been waiting for. It is time for good grief. It's time for the Survivor Series predictions. Right here, right now. And we're gonna start off with the Survivor Series kickoff. And joining in the panel with Josh Matthews, most likely, it's going to be WWE Hall of Famers Booker T, Mick Foley, and Bret the Hitman Hart. All three Hall of Famers will be in the panel. Also, the kickoff match is going to be Kofi Kingston versus The Miz. This past Monday on Raw, they were teammates. But this Sunday, they are opponents. The Miz is now a heel, and he's looking to show Kofi why he's awesome. And usually, there's a boatload of Survivor Series style matches, Survivor Series elimination tag team matches, but this year's there are only two. One for the fellas and one for the divas. And we get into, but before we get into that, the Kofi Kingston versus The Miz, I'm going to go with The Miz to beat Kofi Kingston in the kickoff match. Intercontinental Championship match, I'm going to say Biggie Langston versus Curtis Axel for the Intercontinental title. I'm going to go with Biggie Langston to retain the Intercontinental Gold. And now for the first of two Survivor Series elimination tag team matches. The Total Divas cast featuring Natalya, the Bella Twins, the Funkadactyls, JoJo, and Eva Marie will take on the team of Alicia Fox, Oksana Summer Rae, Rosa Mendez, Caitlyn, Tamina Snuka, and Divas champion AJ Lee. If you were to tell me that AJ and Caitlyn will be on the same team after all that has happened throughout the last year and a half plus two, I'd say you're crazy. But that's what they find themselves in. And let's not forget, Total Divas will be on the air. New episode this Sunday at 10 p.m. So you can flip the channels back and forth. But I'm going to assume that the Divas match will be on before or after. It's likely going to be on before. Now, Survivor Series, the pre-show is at 7:30. The official show is at 8. So right around that 9 o'clock mark, I'm assuming that's going to take place. Now, on to the second of two elimination tag team match. On one end, you got the Shield and the Real Americans taking on the team of the World Brothers, the Usos, and a tag team partner to be named. That person is now Rey Mysterio. And looking at this match here, and how ironic, it was the Shield that made their WWE debut at Survivor Series when they attacked Ryback and helped CM Punk retain the WWE Championship. Now they get to actually wrestle at the pay-per-view that they made their debut at. I'm going to go with the World Brothers, Usos, and Rey Mysterio to pick up the victory here. Oh, and I'm also gonna go with a total diva. I'm gonna go with AJ's team to win that their match as well. Now, on to CM Punk and Daniel Bryan versus Eric Rowan and Luke Harper of the Wyatt family. I'm At first I was lingering towards the upset here, Rowan and Harper, but I'm gonna go with Punk and Bryan on this one. You know what? You know what? Skip that. I'm going with the Wyatts to upset Punk and Bryan. That you may have the beard or you may have the best, but Warren and Harper are more of a sometimes superstar tag teams don't necessarily work the way that people hope for. You got Warren and Harper, they've been together with Bray for months. I will go with Warren and Harper on this one. Cena versus Alberto Del Rio for the World Heavyweight Championship in Cena's hometown of Boston. Well, technically he lives in West Newbury, but West Newbury is kind of close, I guess. Um, Come on, John Cena. Here's an interesting stat for you. Not a good look for Alberto Del Rio. John Cena has appeared in 8 Survivor Series matches. Has has been in 8 Survivor Series. He's made 8 Survivor Series appearances. His record is 7-1. One of those 7 wins came when he came back from an injury at Survivor Series a few years back, defeated Chris Jericho to become the World Heavyweight Champion. I'm going with the numbers. Numbers never lie on this one. I'm going with C Nation. John Cena all day. And now for your main event, Randy Orton versus The Big Show for the WWE Championship. There will be no Shield, no referee, no authority. If you want to prove to be the face of the company, you beat the Big Show by yourself. That's what Triple H and Stephanie has informed the Viper. And you know what? It's been over a decade since Big Show has won the WWE Championship. He's looking to end that drought this Sunday. But I don't see it happening. I see Randy Orton finding a way. Now, Randy Orton has had success in Survivor Series in the past, but that was through those Survivor Series matches. This is one-on-one. No tag team, no eliminations. For the biggest prize in the WWE. I'm going to go with Randy to continue his winning ways, beat the Big Show. Do I really think that no interference, no shenanigans from the authority, especially what they put the Big Show through and what Big Show put authority through? Come on. I'll believe it when I see it. And I will see it this Sunday at my friend Andrew's house. That you go right there. Those are my Survivor Series picks. Before I get on out of here, I want to give a big thanks to the Sarge, Max Steele, for joining me. And don't forget, because Thanksgiving is next week, I'm going to be on the air next Wednesday night at a special start time, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, on Ustream.tv. And my other show, Chilling with Jeff and Tennessee, is making its return. Check that out Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on tmvcafe.com. But that does it for me. I am Kenny C, your host. You all have a good night. Peace out. Have a great Thanksgiving week. And I'll see you again Wednesday of next week. Peace out.